Bonjour, voici vidéo 5D sur l'impératif, the command form in French. We studied this a little bit last year when we took the tu, vous, and nous forms of the verb and used them without their subject pronouns just to tell someone to do something, to give a command. So go to the store, or pick up the table, or clean your room. Or with the new form, it was let's do something, let's go to the movies, or something like that. So the imperative is using the tu or the vous or the nous form of the verb without the subject, tu, vous, or nous, to tell someone to do something, to give a command. Now we've seen that we can replace objects in our sentence with pronouns. And what happens when we have an object pronoun in a sentence and we still want to use the command form? Well, that's what we'll be looking at in this lesson, how to use the command form with object pronouns. So I'm going to give you an example and we're just going to walk through it. I'm going to start with giving a negative command with ne pas, because that is more, it follows the word order more closely than an affirmative command, but we will get to that as well. But first, let's look at the negative. Let's look at my example sentence. Tu donnes à manger au chien. If you remember back to when we had the chapter about the household chores and stuff, you give the dog something to eat, right? We can't change à manger. There's an a there, but that's a verb. We can't change that, but we can replace au chien. And it's a, and normally it's a person, but a living thing counts. So a and chien, au chien, could be replaced by what? Hopefully you said lui. And where does it go in the sentence? In front of the verb, right? Tu lui donnes à manger. You give something to eat to the dog, or you give him something to eat. That's what you're saying. What about in the negative? You don't give him something to eat. You can't separate ne and lui, so the ne goes out before the lui. Tu ne lui donnes, and then the pas goes after the verb as always, right? You don't give him something to eat. All right? So if we want to use the command form, we need to drop this tu, because we don't need it when we're just going to say give him something to eat. And there's one more thing that we have to do. With regular ER verbs, we drop the S on the tu form. I don't know if you remember that little rule or not, but you have to. And then that leaves us with a negative command. Ne lui donne pas à manger. Don't give him something to eat. Don't give him something to eat. Okay? Just like before, we're just going to take off the tu, and this word order stays the same. Now, you knew there had to be catch, right? The catch comes when you want to do an affirmative command, when you want to say, give him something to eat. And when that is the case, the word order switches completely. So we need our verb first, done, and then we need who, the object, donne lui à manger. Give him something to eat. And thankfully, although this is all switched around, this is more like English. So if you have to, just think of it that way. We're going to do it almost exactly like we do it in English. Give him something to eat. All right? So notice how these swap places, and the object pronoun, in other words, follows the verb with a dash. Okay, let's look at another example with a different pronoun. Tu vas en Europe. You go to Europe. Tu vas en Europe. Tu vas en Europe. My writing's messy, but that's an E. So we can replace en Europe with what? Hopefully you said E. Preposition and a place would be replaced by E, so we get tu y vas. Right? You go there. What about in the negative? Tu n'y vas pas. You don't go there. So if I want to make this a negative command, don't go there, what do? I'm going to drop the tu, and I'm just going to get ni va. I got to drop the S too, because it's aller is an ER verb, even though it's irregular. Got to drop that S in the command. N'y va pas. Don't go there. All right? Then I'm going to go to the command form that's in the affirmative, and I'm going to say go there. That means these words have to change place. And here's another little tricky rule. Just before I even say it, how about va-y? What is wrong with saying va-y? Hopefully you're remembering all the times I've told you that they don't like two vowels together in French. We're going to put that S back so that we have something to make liaison with. Vas-y. So with the pronoun y and the pronoun en, we're going to put the S back on in the to form so we have something to make liaison with. Isn't that a great rule? Go there. Vas-y. Okay? So that, in a nutshell, is how we do it. We're going to drop off the subject. If it's negative, we're going to keep the same order. If it's a positive command, we're going to flip the positioning of the object and the verb. If it's an E or an en, we're going to put the S back in. There's one more thing that we need to look at, one more form difference. When you're using me or te, and you're using them in an affirmative command, the me and te are going to change forms. So if you have the sentence tu me montres des photos, let's not change des photos at this point. We'll do that in another lesson where we're putting more than one pronoun in the sentence. Let's just look at me right now. In the negative, it would be what? Tu ne me montres. You don't show me the photos. What about the negative command? Don't show me the photos. Ne me montres. Montrer is a regular ER verb, so the S drops. Don't show me the photos. All right, here's where the change comes. Montre-me, they don't like. Sounds okay to me, but when the me comes at the end of the verb phrase like that, they're going to change it to moi. Montre-moi des photos. Okay, here it doesn't matter. It's in front of the verb. We've been saying it that way all along. It's just when it changes position that me becomes moi in the affirmative command, and te becomes toi. Okay, so if you read through your book carefully, you'll see all those rules, and it'll give you some other explanations and some other examples. Now let's go ahead and go through exercice L. Exercice L à la page 77. 77. 77, exercice L. Answer these questions with an affirmative command. So we're going to have to change the word order, aren't we? Modèle, est-ce que je peux visiter le musée? Oui, visite-le. Or, pouvons-nous visiter le musée? If they're using nous, they want you to use the vous form in your answer. That's why we're getting oui, visitez-le. Okay? Numéro 1. Est-ce que je dois apporter le panier à grand-mère? Must I bring the basket to grandmother? And we want to say bring it. Bring it. So we need apporter in the to form, apporte. We're going to drop the S because it's a regular ER verb, and le panier is le. Apporte-le. Bring it. Numéro 2. Devons-nous chercher la brebis perdue? Must we look for the lost sheep? And we're going to say look for it. The question is being asked in nous, so we're going to answer in the vous form. That gives us chercher. And la brebis is là. Cherchez là. Look for it. Okay? Numéro 3. Est-ce que je peux acheter le fromage? Can I buy the cheese? And you want to say buy it. Achète-le. Buy it. Numéro 4. Est-ce que je dois prêter le collier à Mathilde? Must I loan the necklace to Matilda? And you want to say loan it. That's the verb prêter. It's a regular ER verb. Prête. I need the circumflex. Le collier is le, prête-le, lend it. Numéro 5. Est-ce que je dois écrire des lettres? Must I write some letters? We want to say write some. Écris en. Écris-en. Excuse me. The book also shows this as an answer. Écris-les. You could do that as well. I think that's a partitive and you're saying some letters, so en is a better fit. But as I said, the book does show écris-les, so I'll give that as an option. Numéro 6. Nous devons finir notre travail. We must finish our work. And we want to say finish it. But we've got a new form there, so you know that they want us to answer in the vous form. Finir is a regular IR, so we need finissez. That's a Z. Finissez-le. Finish it. And that's le travail. Right? Numéro 7. Pouvons-nous lire ces romans? Can we read these books, these novels? And we want to say read them. And we're being indicated that we need the vous form, right? So lisez. That's an L, L-I-Z, S-E-Z. And then they were les romans, so read them. Lisez-les. Et la dernière, est-ce que je dois attendre Lucie? Must I wait for Lucy? And you want to say wait for her. So we get attends. La for Lucy. Right? Attends la. Wait for her. Okay? Let's do these in the negative, just for fun. What if we want to say don't read them? Ne les lisez pas, right? Don't read them. And how about don't wait for her? Ne l'attends pas, right? Oui? Okay, if you've got questions or problems as you go through the activity manual, feel free to contact me and I'll try to clear that up for you. And that concludes exercice video 5D. Au revoir.